Sparking Change for Harmonious Living is a TV show that inspires action. It motivates you to start a journey towards a more balanced, fulfilling life. This show explores well being through spirituality, mental clarity, and physical health. It covers topics like mindfulness, nutrition, fitness, and spirituality, giving you practical advice to enhance your life. Tune in for a transformative adventure that ignites the change you seek.
Hello, everyone. I am your host, Giovanna Tarderone. Welcome to Sparking Change for Harmonious Living.
And I'm Ahmed Bahman, your co-host. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. So today's show, Spiritual Growth and Personal Development, a holistic approach to harmonious living. We're doing this show today because, we're in the process of where many things are happening around the world. And to create that harmonious living has to start with us and within. So I came across this saying from a dear friend who I follow, Greg Braden, and he says, the ego once says that once everything falls into place, I'll feel peace. But the spirit within us says, find your peace and then everything will fall into place. And this is really what we're going to try to emphasize today is why is it so important to do the inner work so that we can really live a more peaceful life. So Ahmed, I know you have a lot to share on this topic. And today, we had this great event this whole week at Napoleon Hill Institute about really doing the inner work and finding the passion and finding our purpose so that we can live a better life. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. You see, I love the quote that you shared by Greg Braden. And it says, give me peace, then I will find my inner peace. But it doesn't work that way because from what we understand in scientific terms and as well as in scriptural context is that everything that you see on the outside is nothing but a reflection on what is within you. As within, so without, as above, so below. If you start to live in the spirit of things, then its physical equivalent must follow. Just similar is if you have a huge power plant, for example, right? We are basically sort of transformers. There's an energy that is continuously flowing to and through us. So we can channel this energy and direct it in the direction that we want. But it doesn't flow from outside. It comes through, it says as a divine gift, it passes to and through you.
Correct.
So you are a spiritual being as in a sense. So spiritually it passes through you. This energy is basically neither negative nor positive. It's unadulterated, pure spirit energy. But what happens is it's your thinking and belief that makes it dynamic into moving in certain ways to create your conditioning in terms that it will end up to you as a behavior, as well as it changes the conditions for you on the outside based on how you perceive life. Dr. Wayne Dyer said it beautifully. He said, when we change the way we look at things, what we look at will change.
Absolutely.
So the whole question is, if you're in a position and you feel stuck, the question here is, what have you been entertaining lately or for quite a while?
What are you thinking?
Because
what are your thoughts?
What are you thinking? And you see, for someone who does not understand, the law does not forgive in terms of manifesting things for the one who does not understand. The law is always at work, and the law is always just.
Yes.
Similar to God, God is always just.
Let's talk
And when
about
I
that
say,
inner.
yes, go
Let's
ahead.
talk about the inner work, right? Because we use the term, and you and I understand what that means, and some people may, but some people may not understand what that means. And it starts with the thought. We said, "What are you entertaining?" It starts with the thought.
Yes. You see, thought is the primary cause for all kinds of effects, as it's stated in the law of cause and effect. It's one of the uh, seven hermetic principles, and your thoughts will definitely cause a certain emotion,
And
and
that's where
that
we get to the
emotion,
vibration,
yes,
right?
yes, because your mind is movement, and your body is the manifestation of that movement. So any idea that you think about the longest becomes the strongest. And when you are thinking of a certain idea repetitively over and over again, you cause certain neurons in the brain to fire. And neurons that fire together wire together. Therefore, over time, you start to develop a habitual way of thinking. Now, as that progresses and you start to get emotionally involved with the idea, what happens is that feeling is going to change the vibratory rate of your body. And just like a radio, you can dial into any frequency as you wish, right? The same thing you can do with your body. You can dial to any experience that you wish to experience based on the vibratory rate of your body. Like, for example, everything operates on frequency. Now, we need to make sure that we can attune ourselves on the frequency that we wish to see. But you cannot get there without being in that frequency first. Why? Because like always attracts like energy.
And this is,
As
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Bob always said, he said, you can only attract things to you that are vibrating in harmony with you.
Eh, Absolutely. And, this is where we talk about personal development. This is how we are studying ourselves. Like everything you said right now, you took the time to study this. This didn't just come into your life automatically, or did you experience it? You went into that self-studying of
Yes.
how your mind works, how your mind and your body are connected to receive this information. And until we dig deep into really understanding ourselves, this information is vital for us to live harmoniously, because
Yes.
it is the spirit, mind, and body connection that all three must be in alignment,
Yes. Thoughts,
right?
feelings, and actions. And that's
Absolutely.
that's the key. You see, the inner knowledge is just half of the component, right? Then there's the outer knowledge. Like, okay, as much as you're doing the inner work, you also have to do the outer work. You see, action inspires faith, right? It's sort of like an ignition. You have the intention on the inside, but you combine it with the action on the outside while you're holding firmly to the whole idea of the desire that you have or the good that you desire, that it is done. And
You know,
as they say, it is done unto you as
you
you
do unto
believe.
others. I just want to take a step back. We spoke about we are a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yes.
And when we talk about spiritual growth, it's not about a religion. I want to make that clear. Let's go back a little bit on that, because as soon as somebody
Okay.
hears the word spiritual growth, they associate it with Well, I'm not religion. I'm not religious. I'm sorry.
Here is the thing. Religion, spirituality has been taught in all religions.
Yes.
So what that means is that religion, to me, the way I look at it, is a form of a school of discipline.
I like that.
Why? Because there is structure,
Hmm.
there is methods of application, and there is a process for you to follow in order to reach that spiritual attainment that you aspire to. But spirituality is universal. It's universal. You Once you understand the emotional side of it, the intellectual side of it, the experiential side of it, you will get to see that all religions teach the same thing, but from a different angle. There is
Hmm.
no one path, but there is something that has to do with how honest you are with yourself, how genuine you are, how authentic you are, and how much love you have for God and how much you hold God in your heart. Because the key is your spiritual heart, not your physical heart, but your spiritual heart is a throne. It's a holy place. If your body is a temple, then the throne is the heart, and it's a throne just for one thing, and that is the Almighty God. And
I
why do
say,
I say this?
go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
You're probably thinking the same thing I am. Go ahead. I'll let you continue.
When you embrace yourself in unity with God, there is no separation. Any single thing that you are seeking happiness, you're seeking comfort, you're seeking wealth, you won't worry about it anymore because you have this omnipresence in you. It's omnipotent, it's omniscient. There's nothing shortcoming when you hold the divine in you
And this,
consciously.
the desire of knowing that you have that presence inside of you will
Yes,
eliminate the fear, worry, and doubt.
yes.
And
Because,
you allow God to work through you where you will receive what you need to achieve your desires.
absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
having that faith, applied faith.
And the thing is, you see, most people fret and worry. Where is it gonna come from? How is it gonna happen? That's none of your concern. The whole thing is you set the intention that whatever you do it for His love alone. Because we're meant to do God's work on earth while we are here. And believe me, the contentment that you get, the happiness and joy that you get, especially when you're serving. See, as
The
we
highest.
were, yes. So we're meant to do two things: make the most of ourselves and then to serve others. It's the highest thing that anybody can do. How much you can make out of yourself to the highest degree that you can, go for it. If it means that you can serve far beyond more people than your physical presence, then you can do so. You see, but if you don't make the most out of yourself, then you can serve a few. But if you raise yourself above the plateau, you can serve millions.
And that's where personal development gives you that awareness.
Absolutely. And there was this part that I think I shared with you a few times. Don't look at yourself lightly that you're not qualified. And let me share this quote.
Yes.
God does not choose the qualified one, but God qualifies the chosen one, given the fact that you choose him first.
Absolutely. There's a
Uh,
level of, again, a level of awareness that when you have put God first in your life, then you'll be shown the way.
Absolutely. Like my life started to change when I started to use a specific type of intention that if I want to do anything, I would do it for the love of God alone. Number one, you keep the ego on the side. So it's like you're performing a soul kind of service, it's a higher calling. Number two, when I used to get hurt from people or from losing something, sometimes, people start to, I mean, how can I explain it? In the form where they prolong their stay thinking about their losses. But there was one thing that I did now that it prevents me from getting into that state of feeling ever again. And that is whatever is between myself and my entire world is God within my heart. You see, if you always keep the love that you have for God greater than everything else in your life, because people, they will pass away, they'll go, or they'll move in a different direction. Material things, it can get old, damaged, and it will lose its function. But it's nothing ever lasts except for God. Now, if He's the source of all things, and if you're in a continuous state of maintaining that relationship where you remember Him through all your daily chores and affairs, you haven't lost anything. It's a beautiful feeling. I can talk about it all day, but I truly want you to experience it by putting this in practice.
Yes, as we connect, we have that connection. We feel the inner peace,
Yes,
that everything we need, we shall receive.
absolutely.
But
And,
we
and
have
the
to
only,
believe, right?
absolutely, we have to believe. Now, there is a thing why we have to maintain to remind ourselves of this because human beings have a tendency to be heedless at times instead of being conscious. Like if you're making every action in your life, you're making it consciously with that level of awareness, you'll gain so much confidence in your life. You'll have so much faith. Nothing can ever shake you. But the human being has a tendency of forgetting things at times, and they get heedless, they get distracted, and their mind starts to wander off the track. Now, we have to continuously readjust ourselves back on track again. There was a quote that I want to mention regarding uh, this the state where human beings forget, and it says the following version of the doctrine of the 70,000 veils, as explained by a modern Rafai dervish, shows clear traces of Gnosticism and is so interesting that I cannot refrain from quoting it here. It says 70,000 veils separate God, the one reality, from the world of matter and of sense. 70,000 veils. It's like there's this thick layer of curtains between you when you perceive yourself as a physical and you don't realize that you are spiritual in that sense. And it says, and every soul passes before his birth through these 70,000. It says that the inner half of these are veils of light. You know, when we talk about the divine, usually say the divine light shines through us, but it only flows through your heart. It says, and every soul passes before his birth through these 70,000. The inner half of these are veils of light, the outer half veils of darkness. Now, what does darkness mean? It means that, okay, there's this thick layer. It's like something that clothes it, that the light doesn't pass through anymore, or it cannot be seen with this naked eye. Not that it's not there, it is there. For every one of the veils of light passed through, in this journey towards birth, the soul puts off a divine quality. And for every one of the dark veils, it puts on an earthly quality, which means now you have transferred yourself from being a soul, being encapsulated within a body, within the flesh. Thus, the child born weeping, for the soul knows its separation from God, the one reality. Not that it's actually separated, but what it misses is that it finds itself that in a completely strange place from the source of origin. The one reality, and when the child cries in its sleep, it is because the soul remembers something of what it has lost. Otherwise, the passage through the veils has brought with it forgetfulness. In Arabic, forgetfulness, they call it nisyan. And for this reason, in Arabic, what we call man is also insan. It says, here he is now, as it were, in prison in his body, separated by these thick curtains. Again, these curtains are not something physical, it's something introspective, where we would have certain difficulty to tapping into our higher self, or to really get into the feeling that, yes, we are souls, because in truth, you are a soul, but you're living in a body.
And to be connected with that, it's so important for us to continue to study, to learn, and to stay connected is really by reading and studying every day. And personal development is really about that. And we do that at NHI, right? Napoleon Hill Institute. What do? We study every day at 10 o'clock. We study every day at 5:30. Being very disciplined to knowing that the more we know and study who we are, we understand. We gain a level of awareness every day. We become a new, having a new level of awareness give us a new level of understanding.
Absolutely. And many people, they go through a lot of different coaching programs, but as Bob always reminded us, if it does not have a spiritual foundation, it's incomplete, because the element of faith will be missing. You may gain confidence, but if the faith is not there, the belief becomes stagnant. Like it's not something that you can gain
So
it
good.
over night and day, right? But it is a spiritual process that lifts you off, not in a powerful way, but in an empowering way. You may get all the psychological tips from coaching, which is amazing psychological tools that can help you to restructure and realign your way of habitual way of thinking. But if the element of faith is not there, and what do we say? If you have a faith of a mustard seed, you can do miracles. And with faith, we move mountains.
So good. I actually added all the videos from the Prosperity Summit 2023 that Napoleon Hill was running all this week. And I put all those videos on Facebook within all the different channels, because I just feel we had some great leaders sharing their word of wisdom, how important it is to stay connected and continue to grow, our spirituality. and being connected to our spirit, because
Absolutely.
that's what inspires us to continue to do greater things and become a better version of ourselves every day, and to really tap into what gifts do we have to bring to this world, because our
Absolutely.
gifts are meant to share.
Yeah, and it's as Steve Bow said it beautifully. He said, God's gift to us is more talents and ability than we'll ever hope to use in our lifetime. But our gift to God is to develop as much of that talent and ability as we can in this lifetime.
And
And regarding the Prosperity Summit, I love a couple of things that Dr. Joe Vitale shared. He said, intention rules the earth. Intention moves energy.
yeah,
It's everything. Intention is heart. Intention comes from the heart. If you desire something, intention is the ignition that helps everything to move. And he said, your desire is a marching order from God, an
well,
assignment from God.
so good. That was so
Now,
good.
in scripture, and I think it's in the Holy Quran, there was a passage that's a quote that says, uh, and they ask you about the soul, and tell them that the soul is a decree and order from God, which means that every soul that has come here, that has descended, has a purpose to fulfill.
And we help as coaches, certified coaches from Napoleon Hill Institute, we help you find your purpose. We really do. And once you found your purpose, you find that connection again, and you're going to be loving what you do, because your purpose are to use the gifts that you have and to share. So we're going to bring this to a landing. Your final words of wisdom for today, Ahmed.
If whatever you do, hold the love of God in your heart and do it for his love alone. Don't focus on getting, focus on giving. And then don't worry about where the good is going to come from. There is a scale. God knows the balance. It doesn't matter if it doesn't come from the same source that you provided, another source will appear.
So beautifully said. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. This is absolutely, one of my favorite topics, because I know I continue to grow spiritually and personally every day in order to fulfill our purpose, my purpose. And Ahmed is doing the same. So thank you everyone for joining us today at Sparking Change for
Thank
Harmonious
you, everyone.
Living.
See you all next week.
See you next week.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change for Harmonious